Out to 2-0 in Big Ten play, 8-1 overall. UCLA basketball right now, they are 24th in the nation according to this week's AP Top 25 poll. And the man leading the program, Mick Cronin, is our guest again on the Bruin Insider Show. For Nick Cope, I'm Brian Fenley. Mick, always a pleasure. Thanks for making the time.
What's up, Brian?
Not too much, although we are so glad to have you. I think this might be the first time we've had you during the basketball season, and this is what I love about having you on, is that what makes you so good at what you do is that you are a perpetual perfectionist. But if there's something about this team right now, and I get it, it's early, there's only 9 games that have been played, where can you say to yourself, I like what I see?
Well, we've improved. Yeah, I think, look sometimes some people think I'm going to jump off the ledge because, like you said, I'm focused on the process and getting better so we can achieve our potential. And you can't achieve your potential if you're content, So, but that doesn't mean I don't recognize progress. Okay. The other thing is it's really hard to let when you let your foot off the gas with young people, they immediately absorb the love and become soft. I think Coach Saban, who I obviously look up to and admire, calls it the rat poison, right? I mean, because it's all over the internet. I mean, it's just been people can't wait to congratulate them, and it makes you soft. I mean, with young people, the minute you let your foot off the gas, and with certain players, you can never let your foot off the gas. With certain guys, like with Eric Dailey, he's coming to practice like the Terminator every day. With other guys we got, you got to coach them every play, not every day. Every player, they won't stay. It's amazing how hard it is for young people to stay focused. To me, it's very, very amazing. But that is the biggest challenge of the job. But we have improved, and we must continue to improve.
So in that same vein, what's it like coaching a team where all these guys have played basketball somewhere else, and they're bringing their own background of the college game to you and your program?
Yeah, well, look, maybe there were places where certain things were acceptable that are not that are here are unacceptable. And that's an area where we've got to improve. With the game on the line is where you must be at your best. As film study, probably nobody's called more games of ours since I've been here than Don McLean. Don McLean makes a comment, you get under 3 minutes, and UCLA's up 7 or 8. He makes a comment as I'm doing film study, and I can hear him. Oregon's in trouble because UCLA doesn't make mistakes. Well, he gets that because he's watched my teams play. Now, this particular team, though, will have a lot of guys, as you said, Nick, that played at other schools, and mistakes may have been allowable. So we're going through that process, and that's what film's for. That's what's locking in, teaching, till you get a team where when you have a lead, that you know how to play. You don't, no and ones, box out on the foul line, no defensive breakdowns that we had late in our Oregon game. That could have cost us a game and sent me to a mental institution.
Well, you were talking after the game, the win over Oregon, 73-71. Dylan Andrews makes the big three at the very end. That the late game defense is something that your team is really having to work on. You pointed out what Don McLean said at the very end of that game when he was on the television call. But with all of the influx of transfers, how does that impact the way you structure a practice compared to, say, other years with different guys where you tailor it towards the guys you have this year?
Well, look, when you have returning players and they've been there and they've played for you, and you're running out there with Jalen Clark and Jaime Jaquez in a 2-man game, you're confident that they're going to execute defensively that 2-man situation because they've done it together. Not only have they been coached by us, they've also done it together where, that's a big piece of it. So that's where I think, that our ceiling is much higher than where we are right now. I also think there are some other teams with the same situation. that that have talent, that can score the ball, that are going to get more cohesive as time goes on. So that's why we're going to have to continue to get better. As you allude to that, I think because there's so few freshmen playing college basketball, it's much harder to win. The mistakes are fewer. The game is more physical. 22-year-olds play more physical than 18-year-olds. So I just said, therefore, the quality of play is higher, in my opinion, and it will be higher every month until we get to March. That's just my opinion on it, because you just look, young kids, you say freshmen, okay, not only is it tough on them, they haven't been there, but now when they get to February, they hit a wall. Right, teams that are relying on freshmen, it's really, really tough for that to be the case. So, just keep getting better. That's what I've always focused on. Win or lose. Obviously, it's nice to catch a break late in the game because I've been on the other side of that for so long. It's, I almost, started wondering if I had done something to the Almighty with the last second shots against me. But the basketball gods were, said, hey, you guys outplayed them for 38 minutes. You deserve to win. So we're going to make this shot go in.
Yeah, we were excited to see it go in for you and your club. You bring up Eric Dailey, and just been impressed with his efficiency, the versatility he brings. What have you been impressed by with him?
Well, stuff that you would not see and our fans couldn't see. Eric Dailey's who he is every day. Like coaches, you talk about, we say things to teams and players like you are who you are every day, not on game day. You are who you are when nobody's watching. And he takes all of that to heart. He hasn't had an off day since he moved to Los Angeles. He hasn't gone home. His parents have visited, but he has not gone home over any break that we had in the summer. And he has probably not had a day where he hasn't been in the gym on his own. Where I'm talking on our off days, he's in the gym on his own. And I'm not just saying that. That is a fact. He also comes to practice like a professional. I don't have to motivate him. The biggest, people say, what's the difference, in the NBA? They don't come to practice and give motivational talks to their team to get them ready to practice. Like those guys, they're paying them $40 million. They should be ready to practice. So it's a job. But that's in our sport. Half the time you're trying to make sure your guys are paying attention and motivating them to go hard. With Eric Dailey, he does it to him. So he's a self-starter. Sadly, in our society, I think there's not enough of those. I try to train our guys that they're going to have to be self-starters as an adult to have a better life, to have a successful life, be successful to whatever you want to do. But he's a self-starter, so it's nice. He's one guy I don't, like I've told him, I need you to, you're always ready, help me with these other guys, which, he's new, like so many new guys, but it's like, we can't just wait till next year to say, well, I've been here, I'll be a leader now. You're always ready, man. So, like, yell at these other guys and wake them up because you're always ready.
We're always ready to have Mick Cronin on the Bruin Insider Show. He joins us on the Bruin Insider Show. For Nick Cope, I'm Brian Fenley, the Bruin head basketball coach. The shot creator, the energizer in Sebastian Mack. You have so many guys who can come in late and get you buckets. Sebastian has been on a tear as of late. Where can he still continue to take his game and grow from here?
Oh, defensively, he has to get a lot better. I mean, if we're going to be a serious team, he didn't pinch on the block out with Eric. He was sleeping on two out-of-bounds plays. They missed a wide-open three, and we gave up a layup on the other one where we had to foul. Just like those are. It's not look. You're running back on defense. You got to turn, play, make really good plays. That's a whole. You got to get to that point. I'm talking about dead ball situation. You got to okay. It's a dead ball. I know I got to pinch. I can't let you get in the lane. Like there's absolutely no excuse for that. Okay, now you're taking the ball out. I got to protect the basket. I'm guarding you underneath the basket, and I'm sitting there looking up in this, it's like I'm like a fourth grader in the soccer game that's playing with the crickets. Instead of being the goalkeeper, what are we talking about? He's still got to focus better, and when he doesn't have the ball, he Sebastian's a great kid. Obviously, he has been our most consistent player on offense. I'm talking about what he's got to do to become an adult, and that it's the same thing on the floor as it is off the floor. Be able to stay focused, maintain your concentration, do what needs to be done at all times, and not have to have adults saying, wake up. Before, I don't have to say that to him when he's got the ball. But you got to be able to play the entire game, both ends of the floor. You can't just you can't just pick and choose when you're going to concentrate. So he's growing as a guy. He's much better than he was last year in these types of things. Okay, but we're talking about we're at UCLA. We don't really – it was a great win at Oregon, but that's not what we celebrate at UCLA. We don't even hang Final Four banners, guys. So you understand, I'm trying to get these guys to a championship level. And again, you alluded to it earlier, I try to demand perfection. Well, if you don't demand perfection, okay, you demand guys be okay, you're going to be bad, right? So you demand perfection hoping that you're very good, because there's always going to be what we would call game slippage.
What have you made of the press so far in terms of in-game? What have you liked? Where do you think some improvements? And what have you just thought of it so far? We haven't really seen this consistently from you since you've been here.
We got a long way to go. We're still getting there. The hardest thing about pressing is all five guys have to be engaged in a rotation in symphony. And that is hard, right? Because you have guys that are in a coma in the back of the press. Literally, you have to. You got guys up in the front playing hard, and or the one guy, you get split in a trap, or you don't rotate back, and it's, it is a beautiful thing if you can do it and just wear a team out. You don't even have to steal the ball. They'll miss shots. They won't execute their offense, and trust me, we work on it. I like when we have extra practice time. The week of the Arizona game, we got extra practice time, times for us to really work on it. But the pressing is a thing that has to be all five guys, and you don't have to steal the ball. What you have to do is make them handle it, wear them down, eliminate them from walking up, and them being in a symphony orchestra of offense. Right, you're trying to disrupt the other team. Uncomfortable teams shoot a low percentage. So can you press without giving up easy baskets and achieve your goal of disrupting them and just making them uncomfortable? So we're still getting there. We have so many guys that just haven't ever done anything like this, like a Tyler Bilodeau. He was in a walk-it-up style for 2 years, just for an example. And Eric Dailey's never done this before. So, I think we got and we're not going to give up, because Trent and Dom, Adai, Will, them guys need to play more. And the only way to do that is to force tempo with our defense and play so hard that you come get a rest, and make it that type of game, because we have more players than the other team, and we got to make that a factor. And the only way to do that is to be able to press without giving up easy baskets.
Last question from me, Coach. And from the press to a pressing issue that has been, you'd be the first to acknowledge, is three-point shot in growing that. And you're coming off a win against Oregon where you had a season-best 12 made threes. You made 7 of those 12 in the second half. When you think about the identity of this team this season, and you said it's going to be forever evolving and morphing as the season goes on, but how much are you going to put into the three-point shot regarding this team?
More than you've even seen. We just got off to a really bad start. Even when we scrimmaged San Diego State, missing wide-open shots from good shooters. Kobe Johnson and Sky Clark are two guys, and in our shooting drills, they finish 1-2 every day. Every day. So it's just been a matter of time. with those guys. Kobe shot it in against, Sky had a make. Kobe had 2 of our 12 the other day. So I think we shot too many we just shot too many 2s. We didn't have enough. You want post touches, paint touches, and you want open 3s. We'll take, teams give Dylan the 15-foot pull-up. It's his best shot. We'll take it, but we just, all of it. We all took too many in the Oregon game. Upon film review when I went over it, got to get more. Got to get the ball. If you get the ball inside more, and to Tyler and Adai, those 2 guys in particular, you're going to get more open 3s because then you put pressure on. The team's got to trap the low post. You got overhelp, and you can get shots that way. We didn't get enough post touches, or we'd have got more 3s against Oregon. So, and we're up to 35%. Look, it always averages out. We got too many guys can shoot the ball. So, that the least of my worries with this team is our perimeter shooting in the long term.
You mentioned early in our conversation just about the age of college basketball, and obviously got your first taste of Big Ten play, even though some familiar opponents. But just curious then, as we get into Big Ten play in earnest here in the next few weeks, kind of what you're seeing and what your take is on the conference as you guys head into playing the likes of Nebraska and Iowa and Indiana for the first time.
Well, I mean, I know everybody wants to talk about travel, but, that is what it is. Last time I checked, they make nice planes and we charter fly. So, I don't even want to hear about that. So, trust me, I tried to move here for a long time, okay, to be in the west side of L.A. I don't want to go I don't even want to go to Oregon, let alone to the Midwest. I don't want to leave California, guys. So, we got to go play a game. So, we all got big coats. We'll be okay. But in all seriousness, I'll give you 2 things. One, my assessment of the Big Ten, and I just go by numbers, the analytics of the efficiency. There's about 8 to 10 teams that are anywhere from 12th to 40th in the country, or 35th. I mean, so there's a lot. We don't have the so-called elite team right now in the country yet, but we do have I'd say it was 9 teams in the top 27 of the analytics, whether it's the Bartovic or the Ken Palm. Mm-hmm. We have 9. So we had Big Ten had 9 of the 27, 33% of the top 27 in the country. So it's a very deep, deep league. It always was, but now you throw us and the other teams in there, it's deeper. And so it makes the grind real. It's going to be hard to win every game, man. So the next piece of that would be my concerns, right, was your question. I would say my concern is that we have so many styles of play in this league, and it's so big, and there's officials from all over. So we have a game where we have the Washington game, where there's a foul called on every play, right? I mean, you guys saw the game.
We did.
Literally.
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, so much so that one of the officials said to me, I think he thinks we're getting paid per foul. About is co-official. Like the game was over. He goes, I think he thought we were getting paid per foul tonight. And then you go to Oregon, and we shoot 2 free throws in the first half because one of their players got a technical foul, or we don't shoot a free throw. So we shot 7, I think, on the game. We would have shot 5. So my point is, you get officials from different parts of the country, and it's such a big league, and different styles of play, but so many different officials that usually a league has a rhythm of how the game is called, which, I go back to my Big East days, which was, they threw flags. It was that physical. They threw flags. They didn't blow whistles. In old Big East, it was, you knew, hey, they ain't calling it unless they have to. Especially late in the game around the rim, no chance. But you kind of had a feel, right? It was, an East Coast league. Now obviously I was in it at Cincinnati, but still, Eastern time zone teams, and it was a tough league. With this league being coast to coast, it's just going to be interesting. I think will the rhythm of how the games are going to be called for the players, and for me to know, but for the players to be able to adjust from game to game. So I've already seen two games where it was totally – like, I'm not saying like it was a bad whistle. We won both games, but it was just very different in both games. So I think that's going to be interesting, and that will affect everybody in our conference.
So by that same token, though, could you argue that, hey, maybe that's going to help prepare you guys for tournament time in March?
Yeah, at tournament time, what's interesting, at tournament time, it's a totally different for people listening. So the head of the NCAA officiating he does not assign games, and he has no power during the regular season. His power's in the offseason. They set the rules, okay? The head of NCAA officiating. The head of the conference assigners can control who gets games and take games away from people. The head of the NCAA officiating has zero power until that tournament starts, okay? Well, when that tournament starts, and he's watching all year, so his power is like he's sending out like memos, right? We want taunting called is the thing right now, because they say, they said Eric Dailey said something. Then they said Bartholomew said something, and it's like, I didn't see either one was a big deal on either kid. Like, let's play basketball, but that's a directive. And what happens is guys want to get tournament games, so they follow the email directive from the head of the NCAA to impress him, right? That's a directive. That didn't come from the Big Ten. They came from the NCAA. So you get to the NCAA tournament now, you advance if you blow the whistle. They don't want too much physicality. They want coaches in the box. They want you to control the coach, unless he's in the Hall of Fame. He gets to do what he wants. They want you to control the coach. They want you to control taunting, the things that the NCAA cares about, right? Image, okay? And they don't want football games out there. So when you get in the tournament, it's not going to be a bloodbath. They're going to blow the whistle in the tournament. I mean, they always do, because that's how you advance. So if they tell you, hey, we're not having a hold and grab fest, and if you have a bad game, you blow a bunch of calls, or you don't advance. So it affects your pocketbook. So that's when they really follow what they're being told to do, because it affects their pocketbook.
I'm still waiting to hear how many steps you take during a game in the coach's box.
Not that many. Way
You'd
more.
be surprised.
Way more in practice.
A few miles, maybe.
Yeah. Way. I don't know. Way more in practice. I'd say practice is 2 to 3 hours of up and down.
From talking about officials to it is official. That next game for UCLA is on Saturday against Arizona. For Nick Cope, I'm Brian Fenley. Mick Cronin with us on the Bruin Insider Show, the UCLA head coach. Thanks so much.
Good to be here. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to
Merry
see you too.
Christmas. Happy holidays.